You drafted Bronny to appease LeBron. One thing that never gets talked about, and I don't understand why, you hired LeBron James's podcast co-host as the head coach of your organization, a person who has never had any coaching experience ever, to appease him as well. And he's not a good coach. But for whatever reason, JJ Redick ducks all smoke. Why does JJ Redick not get smoked for not being a good coach?
How do we know that he's not a good coach?
Because they don't win. That's why.
Charlamagne Tha God just struck a match and tossed it straight into the heart of the Los Angeles Lakers franchise. And now the whole NBA is standing back watching the flames rise. This wasn't some soft sports opinion thrown into a loud TV segment. This was sharp, bold, and straight to the point. No sugarcoating at all. His message hit hard. LeBron James didn't just face struggles in LA, he may have played a major role in the franchise losing its edge. That's the claim, and it shook the room.
What outlet released it?
Jeannie Buss.
It was with the ESPN?
I saw a headline, but she said that that LeBron wasn't grateful enough that they drafted Bronny. Was that the...
Listen, I don't know if LeBron, he did say something like that, but I've had this theory for a while. I've said it in numerous group chats with different sports people. The worst thing that has happened to the Lakers over the last 7-8 years has been LeBron James.
So now the question is real. Do you ride with Charlemagne and believe LeBron's influence did more damage than good? Or do you think he's the reason the Lakers even stayed relevant in the first place? Drop your take in the comments and stand on it. Let's see who really believes in what when it comes to this debate.
Well, it depends what you mean by worse.
Definitely in the last couple of years. Yes, he bought them a championship, right, in the bubble. Great. I don't think the Lakers have ever had a problem putting butts in the stand, right? It's the Los Angeles Lakers. They've never had a problem selling merch. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. But in the last couple of years, let's think about the things that have happened. LeBron James got Bronny James drafted, right? Which is great. That's a great story as a father and everything else. But when you're talking about basketball business, it wasn't good for the business of basketball, especially for the Lakers organization, right?
What makes this moment feel different is the energy behind it. This wasn't about one missed jumper or a rough playoff series. It wasn't about one bad season. Charlemagne painted the entire LeBron era in Los Angeles as a long play gone wrong. He suggested the franchise reshaped itself around one superstar's power, voice, and long-term vision. According to him, the Lakers didn't just bring LeBron in to chase banners. They gave him real influence, and once that shift happened, the identity of the franchise started to change. Instead of moving like the old-school powerhouse that built dynasties, critics argue the Lakers began operating like a team focused on keeping one superstar satisfied at all costs.
Why? How can we confirm that? That if we're talking about basketball business,
he hasn't produced. Basketball, you got to. Well, if I do a draft pick, right, that person has to produce on the court. If Bronny James was any other player and not LeBron James' son, you would be saying that was a bust spot.
That's a heavy accusation, because when you talk about the Lakers, you're talking about history, legacy, dominance, and the idea that all of that bent around one player, that's what has people fired up. Looking at the timeline makes the debate even louder. When LeBron first arrived in LA, the move looked smart. It made business sense. It made basketball sense. He brought global attention, massive commercial value, and instant relevance. The spotlight got brighter overnight. And yes, to be fair, a championship followed in 2020 inside the bubble. A banner is still a banner. That can't be erased. But here's where the tension grows. Charlemagne and others argue that the bubble title became protection from criticism. They believe that championship ended up covering years of roster instability, confusing trades, and early playoff exits that didn't match expectations.
So this is where we got to define the terms. When I hear you say business, I mean like financial reward. I'm hearing financial reward. There's also like the business of winning games.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, because those are different. Because the argument I would make for LeBron James is
financial reward, probably yes.
Like when you bring him to Cleveland, for example, like he was generating billions of dollars, literally, I'm not making that up, of revenue for the city of Cleveland. Now, you make a good point where the Lakers are going to sell out every single night no matter what. But they're...
With LeBron, you can sell those tickets a little bit more.
With LeBron, you're not only going to sell them a little bit more. LeBron brings other talent there, i.e., like a Luka.
They haven't won though.
For a franchise known for stacking rings, the results after that title felt underwhelming to some fans. That's the uncomfortable part of the conversation. From Charlemagne's point of view, the bubble championship doesn't hit the same as a traditional season. The season was played under unique circumstances, without the full 82-game grind. and without the usual playoff atmosphere packed with fans. Some people see it as equal, others see it differently. That split opinion still lingers, and for a team built on dominance, anything less than consistent deep playoff runs starts to raise eyebrows.
I think the people who own the team, right? They're not buying the team just because they want to win championships. We agree with that, right? Like, they also want to make money, that this is like a profitable endeavor. And having LeBron on the team and keeping LeBron happy is worth it, because you could own, and I'm putting only in quotes, you can only pay LeBron $40 million a year, whatever the salary cap is, but he's generating your team a disproportionate amount of money compared to the amount that you're paying him.
Then comes the most controversial angle of all, the belief that certain roster decisions were influenced heavily by LeBron's presence. That's where emotions really start to spike. The drafting of Bronny James turned into a lightning rod topic. Supporters called it a historic father-son milestone, something the league had never witnessed before, a once-in-a-generation moment. Critics, however, questioned whether the spotlight around his name changed the evaluation process. Charlemagne leaned strongly into that side of the debate. He argued that if Bronny had a different last name, the conversation about his readiness for the NBA might have sounded very different. Not disrespectful, just different.
And then, like, look what she said. And team sources told ESPN she even begun to turn against the Lakers star player LeBron James. Jeannie privately grumbled people close to the team say about what she felt was James' outsized ego and the overt control that he and Clutch Sports, which represents both James and Anthony,
they do have that,
exerted over the organization at times. She didn't like that James was considered a savior for a floundering franchise when he arrived in 2018, and that it was he who chose the Lakers rather than the team's leadership receiving praise for landing him. Team sources have been adamant for years that James Camp informed the Lakers as early as 2017 that he was coming to join them when he became a free agent the following year. The distance between Ginny and James widened after the Lakers traded for Russell Westbrook in July 2021. People close to the team said the team had made the trade in an effort to appease James, but the acquisition backfired in catastrophic fashion. LA went 33-49 and missed the playoffs, and James seemed to wash his hands of his role in the trade.
And that claim added another layer to an already heated discussion about influence, power, and how decisions get made behind closed doors. That's why this situation feels explosive. It's not just about stats or rings. It's about control, legacy, and who really shaped the direction of one of basketball's most iconic franchises. That's where the whole discussion flips from box scores to power plays. Charlemagne didn't just question Bronny's spot in the league. He questioned how far the Lakers were willing to bend. The real implication? A franchise that once set the tone for the entire NBA may have started reacting to LeBron instead of directing him. And when a historic team stops steering the wheel, Charlemagne believes it starts losing its identity fast.
But for whatever reason, JJ Redick ducks all smoke. Why does JJ Redick not get smoked for not being a good coach?
How do we know that he's not a good coach?
Because they don't win. That's why.
Yeah, but I think winning is a combination. I'm not just saying this because I like JJ, but like, I think winning is a combination of being a good coach and having the right team to win.
He had LeBron. He had Anthony Davis. Now he's got LeBron. He's got Luka. He's got Austin Reeves. Like, what are we talking about here?
Another pressure point comes from the hiring decisions around the organization. Charlemagne and others have pointed at the perception that relationships, media presence, and personal ties may have influenced who landed key leadership roles. Maybe that's overstated, maybe it's not. But the talk alone adds fuel to the idea that the Lakers' internal structure shifted in a big way during the LeBron era. That perception carries weight in a city that watches every move under a spotlight. The argument isn't just that certain decisions failed, it's that they may have been made for reasons beyond pure basketball logic. That's a serious charge, and the heat doesn't stop in the front office. Coaching choices have also faced scrutiny, especially when results fall short. When you stack a roster with multiple all-star level names and still can't dominate consistently, fingers start pointing everywhere. That's just how it goes in Los Angeles. Charlemagne's stance is clear and unapologetic. Winning is supposed to be the baseline, not a bonus. If the victories don't stack up, then talk about chemistry, injuries, or long-term development. Doesn't hit the same in a market built on championships. In LA, banners talk louder than explanations. But here's where things get layered, because while his criticism connects with a section of fans, it overlooks another side of reality. LeBron has always functioned like a system by himself. Every franchise he's joined has adjusted around him. Cleveland shifted, Miami adjusted, Los Angeles followed suit, and more often than not, that blueprint delivered results. Championships happened, revenue climbed, global attention skyrocketed. That formula didn't start in LA. It was established long before he ever wore purple and gold. From a business angle, the impact is undeniable. Ticket demand surged, jersey sales climbed, international viewership expanded, sponsorship deals multiplied. Even critics admit that every Lakers game became must-watch television worldwide. The franchise didn't just sign a superstar, it secured a massive economic engine. In today's sports world, branding and profitability sit right next to championships when owners measure success. That reality can't be ignored. Still, for many Lakers fans, dollars don't replace dynasty status. This is a franchise built on winning rings, not just trending worldwide, and that's where the tension lives. Yes, LeBron delivered a championship, but the seasons around it felt uneven. Injuries disrupted momentum. Roster experiments didn't always click. Big trades didn't always pay off. Early playoff exits added frustration. The team never seemed fully settled during long stretches of his tenure. Charlemagne's toughest claim is about the long-term cost. He suggests that prioritizing short-term contention may have chipped away at the future. Young assets were moved. The roster kept shifting. Instead of steady growth, critics say the Lakers entered a cycle of constant resets, always adjusting, always recalibrating, always trying to match LeBron's championship window. That approach, they argue, limited continuity. Supporters strongly reject that narrative. They say LeBron was brought in for one mission: win now. When you sign a superstar in the later phase of his career, you don't plan a decade-long rebuild. You push your chips in and compete immediately. That's the deal. And in that context, the aggressive moves make sense. The 2020 championship validated the strategy, at least in the short term. But now the landscape is shifting. Younger talent is stepping into bigger roles. New leadership dynamics are forming. As the franchise looks ahead, the balance of influence naturally evolves. The spotlight starts moving toward the next era, and with that shift, the conversation around power, control, and legacy grows even louder. Long-term planning is back on the table, and now LeBron's presence isn't just about points, assists, or highlight plays. It's about legacy. It's about how his story fits into the Lakers' next chapter. Charlemagne's comments land right in the middle of that transition. His argument isn't only about what went wrong before. It's about what the franchise looks like right now. He's saying the Lakers feel stuck between two identities. On one side, they're honoring the LeBron era. On the other, they're trying to build the future. And when you try to balance both at the same time, things can get messy. Questions start popping up. Who's really leading? Who's shaping the direction of the team? And how much influence should LeBron still have at this stage? That tension is real, and fans can feel it. LeBron isn't just another superstar. He's one of the most talked about athletes in sports history. Every win gets magnified. Every loss gets picked apart. Every roster move connected to him becomes a headline. After more than 20 years in the spotlight, emotions around his name are stronger than ever. Charlemagne didn't invent this debate. He just ripped the cover off it and said it out loud. The questions were already sitting there. Did the Lakers give up too much control? Did LeBron's influence shift the franchise in ways that made long-term stability harder? Was that 2020 championship worth the uneven seasons that followed? These aren't simple yes or no topics. They're layered, emotional, and personal for a fan base used to dominance. The timing makes it even more powerful. LeBron is entering the later phase of his career, and the NBA is changing fast. New stars are rising, new rivalries are heating up. The spotlight is slowly moving from, what is LeBron doing tonight, to, how will this era be remembered? That shift brings reflection, not just about his greatness, but about the footprint he leaves behind. For the Lakers, that reflection isn't clean or easy. The LeBron era brought global visibility, major revenue, and a championship banner hanging in the rafters. It also brought pressure, constant roster reshuffling, and a different way of operating as an organization. Whether that trade-off was worth it depends on what you value more: rings above all, or relevance and star power in a new era of the league. Charlemagne made his position clear. He painted LeBron not as a rescuer, but as a powerful force who reshaped the franchise around his timeline. Not as a traditional builder, but as someone who moved the chess pieces to match his vision. That perspective hits hard because it challenges the common storyline. It asks fans to look at the last several years as one connected era, not random ups and downs. And the story isn't over yet. As long as LeBron is still on the court, still producing, still drawing global attention, this debate stays alive. Every big win strengthens his legacy. Every tough loss gives critics more to talk about. Every roster adjustment, every coaching move, every front office decision adds another layer to one of the most complex legacies the league has ever seen. This isn't just about one rant or one headline. It's about a turning point in how people evaluate LeBron's time in Los Angeles. Legacies aren't built in one parade or broken in one playoff exit. They're shaped over years of choices, risks, success, and setbacks. And the Lakers LeBron chapter is still being written one season at a time. Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let your voice be heard. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with other NBA fans who love a real debate. Stay locked in for more deep dives and bold takes, and I'll catch you on the next one.